Hey, hi everybody. Welcome to our buddy call. I think Coach Teresa is going to be hosting tonight. I don't see her on here quite yet, so we can go ahead and get started if you guys just want to share some wins. Whoever wants to pop on and just share a win with us. Tell us what's been going well lately.
I had my first coaching call today.
Oh, awesome. Who is that? Was that Jennifer?
Yeah,
All right, Jennifer. Yeah, good job. You did a great job today as well. So
thanks.
tell the group about that. What went well for you?
Well, I didn't think anything would come of it, but it's a lot easier when I do it like with you. It was a lot easier. You led my mind where it needed to go. So yeah, I was
Awesome.
surprised. It was beneficial.
Good. I'm so glad. Yeah, echo tapping is a fun little journey sometimes, especially when you're starting out. It definitely helps to have a coach or a buddy, somebody to walk you through that process and just, kind of lead you where you need to go.
Right.
So you did a really great job. You leaned into that process very nicely. I really enjoyed working with you today.
Thanks. I enjoyed working with you too.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for sharing.
Hmm.
Jill, I think I saw your hand up.
I'm starting to eat healthier, and control portions more. Think about what a portion is and what how full I should be, and so that's good.
Yeah.
I had a scare last week. I was in the hospital for a few days. They thought I might need bypass surgery, but ends up I didn't. But it was a wake up call, and I realized that I needed to take this very seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Casey.
yeah, we wish you well. Hope you're on the mend. Hi, Teresa. We were just sharing a couple wins. I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, sorry about that. Zoom decided to be super tricky tonight and didn't want to let me log in, so I
It
had to do a
happened.
backdoor entrance. So anyhow, thank you, Coach Casey. That I appreciate that because I was sitting here sweating, going, "Oh no!"
No
I know what
problem.
that feels
We
like.
got you, girl. It's a team effort.
Teamwork makes the dream work. All right, so I understand we already had a couple wins. Anybody else have wins that they'd like to go over? Remember, it does not have to be food or eating. It can be just about anything that gives you that little glimmer, that little thing that helps you reset how you feel about things.
I'll share something.
Thank you, Sherry.
Um, I've spent most of my life running from emotions, eating, doing lots of other things, keeping very, very, very busy. And 2 days ago, I knew this was coming up, but I didn't think it would affect me. 2 days ago was my late husband's birthday, and I just couldn't seem to get into gear. I couldn't do anything. I didn't want to get dressed. I just wanted to sit and cry. Now, this totally shocked me because I don't normally go into the feelings and let myself do it. But I did. My win was that I let myself feel it, and I just sat with it most of the day. I did tapped obviously, and and just let myself be okay with feeling. And that's very, very different for me.
And how do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm very, very pleased with myself. I'm very proud of it because I can see the progress. It's hard to to always notice the progress. I didn't, the next day I was thinking about talking in another group about wins, and it didn't even occur to me that that had been a win until afterwards. I was going, oh, wait. So yeah.
Grief is tricky. It shows up at interesting times when you least expect it. And there's no straight line progression through grief.
There isn't. But even to let myself feel it has been a lifelong challenge, feeling anything. So it's very good. I'm becoming much more aware thanks to the program, thanks to tapping.
Good for you. Good for you. And now you have tools also. The tapping helps a
Exactly.
lot.
Exactly.
Good. Well, that is a big win. Good for you. Does anybody else have a win? Remember, it does not have to be food oriented. It can be anything. All right. Then we can move on, and I can ask if anybody has anything they would like to bring up. Something that feels a little tricky for them, something they're confused about. I know, I think I was on the meeting the other day that people were talking about cravings. And then there was we had a whole experience about wanting to clean our plates.
Well, I feel embarrassed at 71 having this issue, but I grew up with three brothers, and it was always like having a fast fork to get my share. And I still look, I was in a cooking class yesterday, and after we finished cooking, we had these rolled up, like it was stuffed grape leaves, and then we stuffed onion layers, and anyway, I got one, and then everybody else got two, and I'm so embarrassed, but like, oh, I only got one, and so I want to like eat it real fast to make sure I could go in and get more before they run out. And it's not about enjoying the food anymore. And it's not about the people anymore. It's about making sure I get enough. And I get caught in there, and I eat too much, and I don't enjoy my food, and maybe some help on getting out of that, that childhood thing of there's not enough.
Yeah, like the deprivation feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, growing up I raised three sons. I kind of know how you feel in that sense, because when they were teenagers, they'd come in, it was like locust. So I can totally understand that you're like, no, wait a minute, I need to get mine. So
I mean, they would make it be like a sirloin steak, but it wouldn't be huge. It's not like my parents had a fortune. They'd have enough, so we each have a few pieces, but
right.
it was always like, make sure I get in there fast. And so it just spoils everything. It's not about nourishment. It's not about how I feel. It's not about eating slowly. It's only about getting my share, and I get stuck there so much.
All right. So I'd like to just take a moment. So everybody who's on the call, just take a moment, put your hand on your heart for a second, and let's just bring ourselves into a little bit more of a relaxed state so that we can work through some of these things. Put your hand on your heart and just take a couple breaths. Maybe close your eyes. I want you to breathe in for the count of 4. Pause for two counts, and breathe out for the count of 6. I'm going to do that a couple of times. I'm not going to count it and I teach a lot of pranayama or breath practices, and not everybody counts the same or feels comfortable in my counts. I just want you to notice as you exhale, notice your body getting calmer. You can sometimes feel your heart rate decreasing a little bit. You can feel the tension releasing. And as we're doing that, start to feel as if you're breathing in and breathing out through your heart.
Breathing in what?
Through your heart. In and out through your heart.
Through your heart.
Yes. Now bring to mind, it can be a person, a place, a thing, something that makes you feel really good. Something that gives you a loving feeling, a joyful feeling, a safe feeling. Any of that. A loving, a joyful, or safe feeling. Just think about that while you're breathing in and out through your heart. I have a bunch of papers on my computer, so I might be blocking my thing. There we go. So let that nice feeling feel like a happy place for you, a safe place, and let it just fill your body. Feel as if it's pouring into every single cell in your body. And there's a ripple effect where it goes from one cell to the next to the next. Until you feel totally relaxed, right down into your DNA, you're relaxed. That's it. Now keep that feeling with you as you open your eyes and know that you are in a safe place. You have that feeling of safety and warmth inside, and you can go back to that at any time when you need it. And we're going to go ahead and start tapping on the side of our hand. That's it. Even though I am so afraid there's not going to be enough food for me,
Even though I'm so afraid,
there's not going to be enough food for me. I completely accept how I feel. Even though I don't always enjoy my food because I'm worried about getting enough. I accept how I feel, and I'm willing to look at alternative feelings about it. Even though just doesn't feel like enough. Accept how I feel, and I appreciate myself. That's it. Top of your head, nice and easy. Everybody's getting more than me. There's not going to be enough food. Side of your eye. I am not going to have enough food. I have to eat fast so I can get enough. I'm worried about getting enough. It takes all the enjoyment out of the meal. Those brothers were so fast. They ate so much under your arm. So fast. Over your head. I had to get in there quickly. Eyebrow points. Always worried about getting enough food. It was a struggle from my childhood. And it has lasted into adulthood. And I think I'm ready to shift that. Point. I feel in my belly that I can have enough. Collarbone. I feel in my heart that I can have enough. Under my arm. I know there's plenty for everyone. Top of my head, to the head, everything. I'm ready to shift and know that there is plenty for me. That I get provided what my body requires. Side of the eye. I'm ready to shift how I feel about it. Under the nose. I'm sorry, under the eyes. Yes, I keep moving my glasses. I feel ready to shift this. It's been frustrating. I now want to enjoy my meals and eat more slowly. I know that this past experience I had was in the past. It is not the present. And I can forgive my brothers for being very quick to eat and eat a lot under the arm. They were growing boys, and we all made it to adulthood. All right, take a nice deep breath. How do you feel? Just take a moment, feel into your body, notice if anything else came up.
It felt like what I needed.
Okay. Did anything else come up while you were tapping?
No, but it felt like it hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
It happens today. If I'm at a restaurant and someone gets a bigger piece of steak than I am, that's the focus. It's not on enjoying the conversation. It's not on enjoying my steak. It's the fact that they got a bigger, juicier piece. And I feel, I feel, I keep saying, you're being so immature. Why are you so immature? But I'm stuck there.
Well, maybe let's rephrase that. You say to yourself, I feel so mature. So maybe instead of saying I'm stuck there, how about you say, I'm moving out of that phase?
I'm moving out of that phase.
Yeah. So that way we have room for change there.
Right.
Yeah. So okay. So so you can remember, you don't have to think of anything else that popped up. I just want to double check and make sure we kind of hit some of the things and didn't miss a big one that might
Well,
be.
the one thing, I mean, I've been my therapist doesn't know anything about the program, but I've been trying to tell her, about it as I do some of the tapes. And so she's got enough to tell me, well, the steak is not love, Jill. It's still, she knows that there's a lot of childhood neglect, emotional neglect. So she says the steak that I used food to fill in the void. So she said, it's not love, Jill. It's just a piece of meat. So she's been trying to tell me that, and if someone got a bigger piece of steak, they didn't get more love than you. They just got a bigger piece of meat. And that's all it is meat. And you got enough to survive and you'll be okay. And I still get triggered though. So I guess, the message is that suppose someone does get a bigger, just know that I'll be okay, that I'm getting enough, that it's not the end of the world, that the person is what I really need to. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard. Takes time.
And you've told your therapist about your tapping?
Yeah, she knows nothing about it, and she doesn't seem to be wanting to look into it either, but she's got the gist of it at least.
Okay. Well, when she sees your progress, I'm sure she'll want to change her mind and take a look.
I hope so. Thank you.
You're welcome. Would anybody else like to bring something up? Well, do you guys mind if I throw something out there to you? Because keep in mind, I've been on this side of the computer too. Oh, wait, Sandy, go ahead before I start.
Hi. On the same general topic, I grew up a lot like Jill. I didn't have quite as many brothers, but all I had was brothers. And basically, the food got put on the table in the pan it was cooked in, and you had to grab and get it on your plate, or you didn't get enough. But I found that it has spilled over into not enough everywhere. Like when I was working, I'd go to the cafeteria to get a cup of coffee, And I had to get that coffee up to the very, very top before I put the cap on to make sure that I got as much as I paid for, and it's just a general, it really applies to food, but it also applies to everything in general.
I think you'll find it does spill over into other places, other parts, or other parts of our life spills over into our eating as well. Can you, do you mind doing a little something with this?
No, that's fine.
All right, I just want you to take a moment, just close your eyes and I don't want you to justify or overthink it. Can you think back to the very first time where you had this feeling that just not enough? And I don't care if you even make it up. It could be the last time, the
Yeah.
first time, or the most prevalent time.
I think one of the earliest times, I was, I don't know, 5 or 6, and I used to like to give my dad shoulder rubs and back rubs, and of course I had these little teeny hands, and it took quite a while. So then when he was done, I'd say, "Okay, do my back," and he'd go swoosh, 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 and be done. And I'd think, that's not enough. How come I don't get as much?
Okay. So when you think about that, what do you feel that? Can you feel that in your body? Do you get any sensation in your body that from remembering that story?
My upper chest.
Your upper chest. How does it feel? Tight, loose, burning? Describe it any way that it comes to you.
Just kind of a pressure.
Pressure.
Yeah, generalized. It's not really strong, but it's definitely more pressure than anywhere else in my torso.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and tap on the side of our hand. Even though I have this pressure in my chest,
Even though I have this you want me to mute?
I'm sorry,
Do you want me to mute?
you can mute or not mute. It's okay. That's totally your choice. Even though I have this pressure in my chest, and I feel like I did not get my equal share when my dad was giving me a neck massage or a shoulder massage. I appreciate how I feel. And I totally and completely appreciate myself. Even though I was always looking to get my fair share. I kind of remember times when things weren't fair. And I appreciate how I feel about it. But I am willing to try to look at it a different way. Even though this tightness in my chest, this pressure comes up when I think about my dad and the shoulder massages, I appreciate how I feel and I'm willing to shift it. All right. This pressure in my chest, this tightness, this feeling that things are not fair, the feeling that I have to make sure I get my fair share. I feel the pressure in my chest. And I feel bad that my dad would just go swish, swish, swish and be done. I wanted a little more attention. I wanted it to be equal to what I did. My dad didn't think that was what he needed to do. And now I feel pressure in my chest. I feel as if I have to be careful that I get my fair share all the time. And get my money's worth. I always feel as if I'm not careful about it, I won't get my fair share. And even though I think some of it comes from the shoulder rubs, there may be other things too. I'm willing to think that maybe my dad didn't understand that I appreciated that time. And I just wanted more of his attention. But the shoulder rub and the time I did spend with my dad was special. And I know he appreciated it. I appreciated it too. And I wonder if I got the amount of shoulder rub that I needed instead of what I wanted. There's pressure in my chest of not getting enough. Maybe I can shift that. There we go. We have the yawn. Maybe it's shifting already. It's pressure in my chest. Never getting my fair share. Not getting enough. All right. You get a nice big breath. And just how does it feel? Are you noticing a shift at all?
Was having trouble unmuting. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. That's okay. I've had my trouble with Zoom tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like it took the edge off of it. And as I was tapping, I was reminded of a confession my older brother made to me about how he like tried to take his frustrations out on me by doing things like, like hitting me or taking my bottle away or taking my blanket away or stuff. And I have a feeling some of this comes from back then.
Just tapping the side of your hand while you're talking about it. So that came up while you were tapping.
Yes.
Yeah. How did that feel for you when your brother was saying that to you?
I was in shock. I mean, I always knew that I struggled more with the family chaos than they did, but I couldn't figure out why.
That would definitely be some work we'd want to do. Definitely working with your brother. Just maybe not face to face, obviously. I don't know if your brother's still with you or not, but going back and being the little girl and talking to your brother and asking him why. Have you done any of that yet?
Well, he told me why, when he apologized. He has since passed away. But the why basically boils down to he didn't feel he was getting enough love from my mother. And when I came home from the hospital, I took away what little he was getting.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
he wanted to get back at me.
Sibling rivalry.
Yeah.
How old was he?
He was 4 years older than me.
Let's just do a round on this. Even though my brother took my bottle away and said he was jealous of me,
Even though
I apologize. But I still think about it. And I accept that it still comes up in my mind. Even though my brother apologized for wanting to take my bottle away and hit me, I recognize that he was also very young and felt neglected. Even though it doesn't feel better to know about it, I accept it. And I accept his apology. Even though my brother confessed this thing to me that made me feel surprised, I accept how he apologized and I appreciate how he apologized. And I'm willing to shift my feelings about it as well. We'll do one round. I accept the apology from my brother. I can understand the chaos and how he felt with a new baby. I was very surprised when he confessed it. He apologized. And although that was a big surprise for me, I truly, completely accept it and am happy that he apologized to me. Because it shows he really was acting out and didn't really mean it. When he was a child, and I honor that. And I honor that I still sometimes think about it when I feel bad about it too. All right, go ahead and take a breath. How do we feel?
That made a much bigger shift. That feels a lot better.
Good, good. All right, this is definitely something to keep tapping on, especially as you feel it. All right, do you feel complete for the moment?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Can I ask a question?
Who is that? Sorry.
Can I,
Sure.
can I about the previous? I didn't feel. I don't feel like I made that much of a shift from that lifelong pattern of feeling like I got gypped and someone has more. I
Right.
mean, I feel like I begin to understand it, but I don't know. I don't know if I've made that big a shift yet.
Okay. Sometimes the shifts are major and sometimes the shifts are not. Sometimes you will shift for hours afterwards. So
Right.
I would like to answer the next couple of people. And then if you really feel like we need to tap more, we can do that right after the other people have gone. Is that okay?
Okay. I didn't realize there were more. I mean, it's hard to see on a Zoom. Sorry.
Oh, I know. I'm like squinting myself. No, I just want to make sure I'm fair to everybody, but if I will come back and keep tapping because you may shift even more as we can continue tonight. That's how tapping works. And sometimes the shift comes over the course of a couple of days.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, Maddie.
Hi, Teresa. So my win for the week was I've always read about eating until you're 80% full, allowing that extra 20%. And I've always focused on that. And I just suddenly realized this week that I'm always focusing on being full rather than on not being hungry. And that it's a bit of a continuum. And related to that, I'd love to do some tapping at some point if you have some time today about in restaurants. I actually just fall apart in restaurants with pushing the plate away, with eating too much, with the bread basket, with everything. And I've done a lot of tapping on this, but I'm thinking that what I would love to do is focus more on the people. I'm so focused on the food all the time, what I'm going to order, how I'm going to eat it, what everyone else is ordering. Is the waitress bringing it on time? Are we going to have dessert? Aren't we going to have dessert? Rather than just focusing on enjoying being with the people, which is what I wanted to do in the first place. But I'm not doing that. I'm so focused on the food. It's just food noise in my head is so big. So I'm sure a couple of other people would battle with that as well. So if we have time at some point, I'd love to do some tapping on that.
All right, so it's not a push the plate away problem. It's more of when you go to a restaurant, it's almost overwhelming because I mean, the whole purpose of a restaurant is food. If you think about it, that's you go to a restaurant for food, and so what
You
you're,
see, I don't see it like that. I mean, that's their purpose is to provide the food. My
Right.
purpose is to be with my family and have one-on-one time without any other distractions and to enjoy each other's company.
Okay, so what would you like to see happen when you go into a restaurant? What would be a perfect meal for you where you felt like you were rid of the food noise?
Where I just wasn't thinking about the food. I thought about what I wanted when I looked at the menu, and then it came, and I enjoyed as much of it as was needed to not make me hungry anymore, and fulfill the purpose of having the dinner or the lunch. But
Okay,
but that I really started focusing on the people and enjoying the people's company.
okay. All right, let's do a couple rounds of tapping and see what we can do with that. Because that's a rough one because you go in a restaurant, like I said, it is their purpose to serve you food and to keep coming up to the table and asking about food and bringing more food. And it is hard to try to focus on the people that I've seen in restaurants where they'll come up and interrupt a conversation to ask you if everything's good, do you need anything? And that makes it a little hard and challenging. So go ahead and tap on the side of your hand. Even though I want to enjoy the company of my family and my friends when I'm in a restaurant, I find myself getting caught up by the food noise. And I accept how I feel about it. And am opening up to making a shift. Even though I keep getting caught up in this food noise when I go out to a restaurant, and I really want to focus on my family and my friends, I accept how I feel. And I appreciate how I feel about it. And I appreciate myself. Even though I get caught up in the food noise when I'm in a restaurant, I'm opening to shifting that and focusing more on my family and my friends. Top of head. I want to feel the experience of being with family and friends. The eyebrow. Going out is a social occasion, and food is just a vehicle outside of the eye. I want to enjoy conversations. I crave conversations and the camaraderie under the eye. The bread basket and the food under the nose is only part of it. It is not the major part. Under the chin. The more that I eat the bread basket or deal with the food, the less I talk, the less I enjoy. Collarbone. I want to feel the conversation and fully involved in the conversation under the arm. I crave this conversation and the enjoyment. Top of the head. Food, the food is secondary. It's just a way to help us sit at the table. Maybe I can even have the bread basket come later. Maybe we can ask to have no bread basket. Under the nose. Maybe I can ask for a container to take half the meal home as soon as it comes, so I don't have to worry about how much I'm eating. Because I know I will stop at half. Under the chin. There are so many things that I can do so that I can focus on my friends and my family. Under the collarbone. I can make the choice to reduce the noise about the food in the restaurant. I have the power because I have the desire to do so. Under the arm. All right, take a nice big breath and let's see how we feel about this. You may have to tap before you go out.
Mm. Yeah.
Or you
Thank
might
you.
tap under the table. I've been known to do that myself. I do the finger points under the table, or shoot, just go in the bathroom and tap. I'm sure people have walked in the bathroom and just thought this weird woman was sitting there tapping stuff, but I'm okay with that. So,
Mm.
and when you think about going to a restaurant now, do you still feel that sense of food noise overwhelm?
I'm feeling a little less anxiety about it.
Okay.
And I did have one or two big sighs there, so I think probably something has started to move. So
Okay.
yeah, you know, the
Okay,
proof
so
of the pudding will be in the eating of it, I'm sure. But
like I said, tap before you go out. Go into,
Yeah.
excuse yourself, go into the bathroom and do a couple rounds of tapping, and that's always helpful.
yeah.
All right. And actually, I have a little technique for everybody before we get off tonight that I found that it helped me extensively when I was going, because I've been through the program. 70 pounds later, it wasn't fast. It was 3.5 years, but 70 pounds later, because I was trying to be a health and wellness coach and I couldn't get weight to come off. So I've lost 70 pounds over the course of 3.5 years. And I seem to be maintaining it without struggle. So I'm telling you, it works. It's not always fast. We like everything fast, but it is effective and it heals so many things. So I'll just throw little tidbits of what's helped along the way, as if it helps you. So, all right, let's go on to Linda. Thank you.
Hi. I have had the same problem my whole life. I grew up in a large family. There were 7 kids, so it was always get it while you can. But I didn't have a lot of attention from my parents. And it came to me while we were tapping that food for me was love.
Yeah.
It was love. It was the attention that I did not get growing up. And so as you've gone through these other tappings, I've continued tapping with that. And I do feel a lot of relief with it.
Oh.
So maybe just mentioning this will help someone else have an aha moment as well.
Well,
So
there's a lot of vicarious benefit you get by tapping in a group like this. It doesn't have to be your thing, but when you're tapping along, you are also getting benefit. So there is a lot of healing that happens in the group. So that's a wonderful thing to hear from you.
Yeah, towards the last couple of rounds that you did, I did not tap along with what your words. I had used my own words.
And that's beautiful.
So that is what worked for me.
Good.
So thank you. And I do appreciate, Jill, you bringing that up in the first place. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome. It sounds like we had a similar issue.
Sounds like a lot of us have had similar issues. We wrap love around food. All right, Mary, did you have something to bring up?
Yeah, I'm really glad people are talking about this because eating in groups is something that I'm working on. And I know that it's from my childhood. There's no doubt about that. Last time I went out to a restaurant, my coach had recommended that when I order my food, asked them to bring the to-go boxes at the same time.
Mhm.
And when I had finished eating enough, they hadn't brought the boxes yet, and I had to ask a second time. And I found that what I was doing while I was waiting was picking at it, and I didn't want it, but I was picking at it. And so I made myself stop, and I feel really good because when I finished that meal, I felt satiated, but not stuffed. But the trick for me is just to get it out of my sight. You know, those boxes helped so much. And this morning, I sat down to eat, and I only had a quarter of a bagel. I mean, with some avocado on it, and I felt full. I was quite disappointed in myself, but I stopped. And I mean, it's just, I would like to, I get pleasure out of food, and I need to find other ways of feeling pleasure other than food. So,
What about eating the quarter bagel with the avocado, which sounds like a pretty healthy choice with avocado on it, because
Yeah.
you're putting clothes on your carbs, as they say. What
Yeah.
about it did you find disappointing?
I wanted to eat more because it tasted good.
Oh,
Yeah. And I didn't need more. My stomach, I could feel that my stomach was saying, I've had enough.
well,
And
that's
maybe 2
that's a
hours,
lovely thing.
yeah. And 2 hours later, I was hungry. And I had time. So I made myself, a protein breakfast. And that's what I needed that. So um, it's, I think it's going to be a process that's going to take a while for me, but I know that I'm making progress in feeling my body telling me I've had enough, in recognizing the sigh, but also just feeling the slight change that happens in my stomach at when as I'm approaching full. And if I stop eating, my stomach feels more and more full. And I'm like,
Well,
well, that's
there's a gap.
cool. And I can stop.
There
So,
is a gap.
yeah, because
A gap when you're
yeah,
full, a gap when you feel it.
yeah,
So the fact that you're feeling that is pretty phenomenal, because that's a hard one for a lot of people.
it is. And
And I struggle with it personally, is the feeling, is that gap time. And then sometimes you're like, oh, just ate so much. Why did I do that?
yeah, yeah, I don't want to feel stuffed anymore.
Yeah.
It's funny, I've reached that point. And I have knee surgery scheduled for June, and I have got to lose at least 20 pounds before that, because otherwise my BMI is too high and it will kick me out of the eligibility for the knee surgery. So I'm being,
I have opinions about BMI. It's just a guideline, but
Yeah.
on the other hand, with
but
me-
it is a guideline that the surgeon follows.
Yes, absolutely.
And I know that, and I looked it up and I found the little chart and I went, okay, 20 pounds. I can do that. I know I can.
You've
And
got time.
by being very conscious of what goes in my mouth and how I feel as it's going in my mouth,
Yes.
and doing it slowly, because I was a speed eater for a while, and that was from the kids, from being in a large family. I've definitely slowed down, and I love the idea of enjoying each mouthful, because if I'm doing speed eating, I'm not enjoying the textures and the flavors and the yumminess of what I made. I'm just doing that. And if I slow down enough, I get joy out of that. And that's what I was doing this morning with the bagel.
That's the idea behind mindful eating. The mindful
Yeah,
of eating, feeling the texture, enjoying
the
who you're with,
flavors.
versus
Yeah.
just trying to eat fast.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
that's wonderful.
those are, I've had a lot in the last couple of days. I've had to face a lot with this surgery coming up, and really looking at the fact that I've been mindfully eating a lot of the time, but not all of the time. I've been eating smaller amounts some of the time, not all of the time. And I realize progress, not perfection, but I need more progress in order to make the requirements for the surgery. So that's okay. I'm motivated. So Yeah. Anyway,
I think the one thing that kicked my backside before I had to have ankle surgery is they called me and told me the surgeon needs to look at me. Or the anesthesiologist needed to see me. And I was like, why? Because he was looking at my height, weight, and my BMI, and he wanted to see if if I was going to have like sleep apnea when I was under. And I went in, and then he went, oh, okay, you're fine. And I was like, you didn't need to check anything. He said, well, I just need to see you. And I was like, so you had me do the big neck check? Like, I was mortified. That was kind of like a turning point. It's like, all right, something's got to change. Because yes, it's not just about how we feel and look. It's also about the health. And for something like a knee, you want to be comfortable again. So
yeah. Oh,
a really big motivation.
big. Yeah.
So yeah, good for you. And I'm sure you will do it.
And thank you, everybody who's talked about this, because I got something out of everybody's talk today, and you've helped me, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. Cindy, did you want to mention something?
Yeah, I just had a question. When I was tapping along, I think in the beginning with Jill and you, I was kind of thinking the thing that came up for me is that my dad used to just sort of pick something up off my plate. And so what I was saying was I was changing the words a little bit, like, just I would want his respect to appreciate my boundaries, that this was mine and not his kind of thing. And it is kind of weird because I have like protective things around food. And I just wanted to thank you all for sharing, because I really wasn't totally thinking that. And so anyway, that was the first part. Second part is it didn't really make me feel that emotional tapping through that. Does that mean it's still valuable even if you don't hit on a really super strong emotion with it? Is it still working?
It doesn't, it's still working.
Okay.
It doesn't, you don't always have to have a major release.
Okay. All right.
Trust me, you don't always have to have a major relief. Sometimes you're going to be like, that did nothing. And then you'll walk away and 2 days later be like, oh, wait a minute, it really did do something.
Yeah. Well, I just appreciate everybody sharing tonight. So thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody have anything else? All right. I want to share a technique that I learned. You guys don't know me very well, but my background is I am also a yoga therapist, a hypnotherapist, plus EFT practitioner. And I've done a lot of work in my yoga therapy program with the nervous system, with stress response, and a lot with trauma. So one of the things that I found as a game changer, and this was highly researched, this is where I got it from through my training and my programs, is that when you tap before going to sleep, it downshifts your nervous system. And can help reduce cortisol, etc. When you're tapping on emotional eating triggers at night, you're not fixing them, you're loosening their grip, because the brain is going to do its deepest work after you turn the lights on, you go to sleep. So what it does with that material is you get this slow wave sleep that happens early night, which is like emotional unloading. It's dominated by the parasympathetic tone, which is your rest and digest. When you're not stressed and you're relaxed, your brain's going to replay recent emotional material without a lot of cortisol dump. And your memories are destabilized and softened. So what does that mean? It means it starts changing things in there. So if you tap before bed, you're going to enter sleep already tagged. It's going to enter into your thought process as already less dangerous, and that's critical. Then later on, when you go into the REM sleep, that's that rapid eye movement sleep, you are reconsolidating these emotions. You're coming up with different things with them. The two parts of your brain, your amygdala, which is your fight or flight center, this is your danger center in there, and your prefrontal cortex are going to talk to each other. A lot of memories in the prefrontal cortex. And then these emotional memories are going to be restored with a new meaning. And then fear associations will weaken when the threat is low. So that sleep researchers have consistently shown that REM sleep reduces emotional charge, but only if the stress hormones are not elevated. So what does that mean for you? Tap before you go to sleep. If you can do it, try to tap before you go to sleep, and then your brain will take care of the rest. It's going to reconsolidate these memories because we've already lowered your cortisol. You've already lowered the stress response, and you've created a safe space within your own brain that's going to make it reconsolidate, and it's going to help you with cravings and emotional responses to things. And I'm going to leave you with one last word of wisdom. Cravings and emotional attachments to food, you don't need, and wanting to not eat so much. You don't need obedience. It's not about obedience. It's not about willing yourself through it. They need understanding, and just know that when you tap tonight, that understanding is going to be enough. I hope I didn't do too much science.
Is there a good tapping script in the program for going to sleep and doing that?
I actually don't know if there is, but I can talk to Casey or somebody, and maybe I can post one on Facebook, on the Facebook page. If there, I just have to make sure it's okay with everybody. I don't want to go ahead and just jump in and do something without making sure that it's something that everybody would want. Because I do have a couple, I created a couple scripts for myself. So I have a couple scripts that I've used, and I've had other people use too. So with that being said, if we're all good for the evening, anybody else?
Well, I had something I just wanted to say. I noticed that it's not enough. It's not just about food. It goes into other areas of my life. You know, when you finished working with the next person, I felt like, oh, I didn't get enough. I didn't get as much as they got. You didn't check in with me the way you checked in with her. And I was all revved up about that. And then at some point in the hour, I thought, oh, that's another example of the same thing. You know? That's my MO, you know, and who knows if it's right or not. The fact is, I was so attached to it and so triggered by it. And, you know, so I guess I just need to be aware of how that comes up so I don't act on it in destructive ways.
And did you continue tapping on it as we were going?
No, I was trying to pay attention to everything else, but I was sinking in. But I guess what I need to do is maybe just tap and just, I don't know, something about when I tap that it's safe. What I got was enough for now, that it, and somehow something about it's okay if I don't get as much, and I might have gotten as much. Maybe it's, you know, that it's safe, that I'm safe, I'm okay, I got something to, you know, I don't know. I just need to, can I make up my own scripts as I tap? I've just been doing these tapes and listening to the tapes, and I haven't really been doing my own.
Intuitively, I think you know what you need. So yes, creating your own words, putting your own words to these scripts are ideal because it's coming from you and how you feel. So yes, absolutely. I mean, do some of the scripts for different things, you know, play with them, and then start putting your own words into it, because that's going to be most effective.
Okay. The other thing, I have a question, is there a way you can turn on closed captioning with this? Because I'm very hard of hearing. And some of the things sometimes I had a little trouble hearing what you were saying. So I'm wondering on Zoom if I can, oh, you know what? Show captions. I think I just found it. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right. So next time, you know, you can get that, right?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
It's a little tricky finding all the little buttons. And tonight I had to come in through I came in the same way you did instead of the way I normally come in. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Are we good for this evening? Does everybody feel complete? Do your tapping before you go to bed. Give it a couple days, see how it works. All right. Well, thank you. I honor you all for being here, and everybody have a blessed rest of your day. Good night.